It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Catafamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in Yavapai County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, it is great to have you in studio with us today. We are sitting down with ADOT spokesman Ryan Harding. Welcome to studio, Ryan. He's with us via Zoom, and we're going to do a little talk. You guys sent out a press release a couple weeks ago about all the projects that are going to be coming to northern Arizona, and I always appreciate when you do that. And so we talked about it then, but I thought we'd have you come in the show and talk a little bit more about them, because it's going to be really nice to get some of these projects done. It's going to be a hassle and probably a pain for some of the folks out there, but if we're patient when the road projects are done, it's going to be just smooth sailing down the roadway. So we should jump into it right away. First of all, websites for you. az.gov is where you can go for all kinds of ADOT information. There's also az.gov/projects. That's going to take you to the projects that we're going to be talking about, and you can look at projects all over the state at that location. And then for current road conditions around the state, AZ511. We'll just bring that up every now and again to remind you of that. So let's jump into it, Ryan. First thing is, I noticed 89A in Oak Creek Canyon is going to get some work. It's had a lot of nice work done to it. It's a real smooth ride now going through Oak Creek Canyon all the way to the top and then all the way to Flagstaff with all the work that's been done on there. But there's a little chunk of project that still needs to be done. Can you tell us about what's going to be happening there?
Sure. Yeah. This year we're going to start a safety improvement project on 89A in the canyon there. And what that's going to involve is a couple of different projects that we have combined as one in order to help better coordinate all the traffic impacts that those projects are going to require. And so some of those work that's going to be done is rock mitigation, rockfall mitigation along two locations there in the canyon. One kind of just north of the Pump House Wash Bridge and the switchbacks. The other location is just north of the Sedona city limits there as you go into the canyon area there.
Okay.
So there will be some rockfall mitigation going on there, as well as sediment and erosion work in the switchbacks. And then finally, the Pump House Wash Bridge itself, we're going to rehabilitate that bridge. It's going to get a new bridge deck and railing and some other related work. And so we're going to rehabilitate that bridge to extend its life and have it continue to be serviced and do some other just safety work like that to keep the road safe and for drivers to use.
People who are not familiar with Pump House Wash Bridge, it sits right at the base of the switchbacks. It's the little bridge, sharp curve, and then you start going up the switchbacks. So that's the bridge you're talking about. And yeah, it does have some potholes in it that I noticed have been patched over the years. So it'd be nice to get that bridge replaced. So I guess we could probably, when would that project start? And then what kind of delays we'd be looking at driving through the canyon?
So at this point, we are pending approval from the State Transportation Board to award the contract. And then once that gets awarded, we'll look to start that early this spring. And there will be, some daytime traffic restrictions, limited daytime overnight closures. There'll be we'll keep the road open using a combination of like temporary traffic signals and a flagging operation while the projects are under construction. Through the work zones, like the rockfall work zones, it's going to be narrowed just to one lane only. So there will be alternating north and southbound travel there with flaggers and a temporary traffic signal while the work is going on. So that's some of the general restrictions that drivers can anticipate when work is occurring.
Do we think we'll get the whole thing done this year? The bridge, I would think, is probably the biggest project out of all of them that you've mentioned so far.
Yes, and so we are looking at a timeline of fall of 23 of being done with a possible winter hiatus this year. Kind of a shutdown this winter.
Okay, we're going to talk with Ryan, too, about some of the projects that were going on with I-40 that, again, once the weather reaches a certain temperature, asphalt doesn't adhere right, and work is not done in the higher elevations, so they come back the next year. So we'll talk about some of those projects. So this one will get started in 2022 and probably finished up in 2023. Okay, but that'll be nice. It'll be nice to have Highway 89A pretty much complete all the way through, and the rock mitigation's nice, too. It just keeps people from being hit by boulders or running into boulders. Another one coming up is the I-40 bridge project at A1 Mountain Interchange in Flagstaff. I noticed ADOT's done a lot of work on I-40 from, I want to say, is it safe to say from maybe Seligman, Ash Fork area to Flagstaff, and then from Flagstaff eastward? Is that about right?
Yeah, we've done a lot of work on I-40 along the whole corridor, really, from California to New Mexico, kind of a thing. But a lot of work in the Flagstaff area, that general region, including a lot of bridge replacement work. And so A1 Mountain Bridge is the latest bridge that we're going to replace. And that's going to happen this year. And so, A1 Mountain, about 5 miles west of the I-17 junction in Flagstaff. And we're going to remove and replace the existing bridge. And we're anticipating construction to start this spring, and hopefully should be done by the end of this year.
Now, have you guys only been working on the westbound lanes of I-40? I just recently came back on the eastbound lanes of I-40, and they were really in bad shape, but the westbound lanes seem very good.
Okay. They've been doing some paving work. They have been working on a couple other bridge projects just west of the 17 there that will continue this year. So the main paving project that they've been doing on I-40 this last year was east of I-17 out towards Walnut Canyon Road, a 10-mile stretch there. And that's one of the projects that has been in winter hiatus, and they'll come back and complete that this year.
Okay. Now, is this bridge project going to be done like it's kind of a new system that ADOT's been using for the bridge replacement projects, which I think is pretty neat. I think it was used on the 4th Street Bridge in Flagstaff, where the bridge is built off to the side, and then you just kind of slide it in place, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, we've done innovative techniques like that. And with A1 Mountain, I don't exactly know how they're going to do this. They might be doing something innovative like that. I'm not exactly sure, but we've done those things before. We've done a couple of them. The Belmont Bridge is another one that we did that with, where we slid the new bridge into place of the old one. So
yeah, it just eliminates a lot of traffic problems and the bridge construction from going, I can't remember what your press release had said, like from several months of inconvenience to people to just a few days to be able to slide the new bridge in place. I think that's pretty neat technology that we're using for that.
Absolutely. Yeah, and with this project, just later on coming up, we'll put out notification when this has happened, but there will be a 40-day closure of A1 Mountain Road over I-40 later this year as part of the project. But we have detour routes put out, and we'll, of course, give people advance notice before we get to that point so they can plan.
Okay. All right. Let's take our first break. Ryan Harding with ADOT is in studio with us today. az.gov is a great website for information about road projects. If you're in projects alone, az.gov/projects. This is Countywide. Stick around. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Need a ride to work in Sedona? Hop on the new Verde Shuttle at the Cottonwood Library and ride to all the major employers in Sedona for just $2. It's just that easy. Looking to get back to work? Sedona has jobs, and the Verde Shuttle gets you there every 45 minutes. It's just that easy. Working late? The Verde Shuttle runs until 10:30 and offers a free after-hours shuttle in Cottonwood. It's just that easy. Check out verdeshuttle.com for details or ask Google Maps for transit directions. It's just that easy.
Award-winning Soundbites Grill is an entertainment restaurant located in Uptown Sedona at the Hyatt Pinion Point Resort. Open for lunch and dinner, featuring fresh fish, all-natural hand-cut beef, even a full vegan menu. Family friendly, open 11:30 to 9. Late dining on Friday and Saturday. Soundbites Grill has some of the best views of the Sedona Red Rocks. Offers world-class entertainment, food, fun, and music.
The mouth is the gateway to the digestive system. Studies indicate a correlation between oral health and full body health. Regular cleanings and checkups can help protect you. New patients are welcome at Arizona Smile Designers in Cottonwood. There's a full smile worth of services all offered under one roof. Whitening and cosmetic to implants and smile reconstruction. Find out more or request an appointment online at azsmiledesigners.com.
Terrifying job. Snake handler, take one.
James, this is a really terrifying job. Given the hazards, why do you do it?
I've been fascinated by reptiles since I was a child.
Tell me about your little friend there.
So this is Bear Hug. He's a Burmese python. We have him here at the Phoenix Zoo.
It kind of makes my skin crawl. Is there anything that rattles you?
Yeah, distracted drivers terrify me.
Welcome back to Countywide. We're talking with ADOT's Ryan Harding this morning. AZDOT.gov is the website. AZDOT.gov is the website you want to go to for more information. And if you put a slash in projects on there, that'll take you to information about projects that are planned throughout the state, taking place and coming up throughout the state on that page. A lot of great information there. One project I'm looking forward to, you guys did northbound I-17 from the scenic overlook at the top of the mountain there, just at the top of the Mogollon Rim, all the way into Flagstaff, and it's this beautiful road, nice and smooth, easy going. And then southbound, it's just it'll rattle fillings right out of your mouth. Southbound 17 is just a nightmare in some places, but that is about to get a facelift. Tell me more about what's going on with southbound 17.
Yeah, right. So I mean, as you noted, a few years ago we went and were able to repave and even in some sections rebuild northbound I-17 from like the scenic overlook, the county line there, all the way to I-40. And so this year, now we have the funding. We're going to come in and we're going to do the southbound side. We're going to do the same section of road, but in the southbound direction. So we're going to be able to give that same from about the county line all the way to I-40 in both directions. We'll get a repaving and a kind of facelift, as you said, just to kind of repair and kind of undo a lot of years of damage from winter weather. And so that will be real nice, and that'll create a nice smooth ride for drivers coming into Flag and coming out of Flag.
The winter really does do a lot of damage up there on the interstate. I mean, you can literally see where snow starts and stops when you drive on I-17. Just below the Mogollon Rim Stoneman Lake Road area, the road tends to stay in really good shape all the way through the Verde Valley and down into Phoenix. But once you get above that mark, you can just tell that the plows, there's damage because of that. You got the de-icer on the roadways and just the snow in general on the roadways too. So when do we see that starting, and will it take just the year to complete, or is this a multi-year type thing?
That should, I'm not sure exactly when that's going to start. That will start this year, but it'll probably be a 2-season deal. I remember northbound being that as well. So it'll probably take, they'll start it this year, go into winter hiatus, and then next spring, summer, come back and finish that section there. That's about a 28-mile section.
Yeah, you're right about that. It did take a couple of years for them to come back. I think they made it to about Mountain Air, Kachina Village. They had to come back and finish the paving northbound into the city. So that's it. And then you've got the fiber optic work is ongoing. And we've been talking about that and letting our listeners know as well that the fiber optic work along I-17 north and southbound off and on. I drove by some guys this morning working up by the scenic overlook. They were digging the trench there for the cable. So tell us a little bit more about that. And I noticed I was asking Ryan between the break there that there are these boxes, these concrete boxes that show up between the cable that's being laid. So give us a little more information on that if you could. So late last year we started that project, and that's running from about I-40 down to right the Sedona turnoff there, about 179 or so. That's that one project that's going on. But they've already started the next project, which is going to go from Sedona all the way down into Anthem.
But what they're doing, they're digging the trenches along the southbound side of the road. And then they're laying the conduit in there. And then, they have these boxes that you mentioned, and then they kind of plug it in there. And those are kind of the access points, because part of what we're going to do, of course, is we want to provide rural communities in Arizona with broadband internet access. And so those will be points where local internet service providers can come in, connect into that conduit there, and then provide their customers with broadband options so that they can get faster internet service and connection. And so, that's moving along real nicely. That project's between Flagstaff down to Sedona should be completed this summer. And then work is also continuing from that Sedona turnoff south all the way down to Anthem as well. So that's already getting underway as well. So we're excited about doing that, using our right-of-way kind of as a backbone to provide high-speed internet service to rural Arizona communities. And then also drivers are going to benefit from this as well, because we'll use some of that fiber optic cable to hardwire and be able to install things like overhead message boards and cameras that, like, if you go on az511.gov, you can look at rural cameras and get road conditions around the state. So we'll be able to put more of those in because they'll be hardwired into that conduit there. And so that will then help drivers out as well by giving them more technology to know what road conditions are going to be like.
Those overhead boards have been pretty handy for ADOT, haven't they? I notice you guys have your contest every year for some of the, is it Christmas? I want to say around Christmas time, you guys take some interesting ideas from the public and put them on the message boards, the safety reminders and things of that nature. And I think you had the roses are red, violets are blue. Buckle up, we love you, or something like that on Valentine's Day this week. So, so I mean, those are really nice. And then the other really nice thing about those is just you can look and see, okay, the trip time to Sedona is this amount of time. The trip time to Flagstaff is this amount of time. It gives you an idea as to just how long it's going to take. And then when there's something going on the roadway, you guys can light that up really fast and let folks know ahead of time that, hey, guess what? There's a crash up ahead. If you want to exit, now's the time to do that and get around that mess. So those overhead message boards have been, I think, kind of a lifesaver actually in the state. They've got to be super helpful to you guys.
Yeah, exactly. They allow us to get messages to drivers on the road for, like, if there's a crash ahead or winter driving conditions, watch out, or get creative with some of those safety messages just so people can see it and get safety more top of mind.
Yeah, that's good. Top of mind. It's where it's got to be for us, that's for sure. Yeah, I think yesterday was talking about strong winds, so be careful of that. All right, we got a couple of minutes before our next break. The big project, I think people are going to find that I-17 this year and probably next year as well, next 3 years, there's going to be something going on from Flagstaff all the way down to the Phoenix area that's going to, in several locations, you're going to have to slow down and be ready for construction. But the big project I-17 between Anthem and Sunset Point is getting ready to get underway as well.
Yes. They have started some pre-construction work. What we call pre-construction work is they prep that area for the coming building of what we call the flex lanes, and that's going to run alongside on the southbound side of the freeway or the highway, and it will just serve as a point to detour for traffic in case because sometimes you will see crashes that occur along there as you're going up the hill, and that blocks the roadway and people are stuck for a little while and really delayed. And so having these flex lanes, we could then divert traffic onto these flex lanes, move them around that area, and then they can continue on their way. And then they're called flex lanes because we could open them for northbound traffic or open them for southbound traffic, whichever is needed.
I think I remember when you guys first mentioned them, the Fridays would be the northbound flex lane because that's where we have crashes on northbound because everyone's coming north, and then Sunday would be a southbound flex lane. So hopefully that'll do it. But that's going to take like 3 years to do. We have to take our next break. Ryan Harding with ADOT is in studio with us today. AZDOT.gov is the website. You can also go to AZDOT.gov/projects and find out about all the projects going on in the state. Stick around. Countywide back in just a couple minutes.
Looking for a ride to Sedona? Hop on the new Verde Shuttle at the Cottonwood Library and go everywhere you want to go in West Sedona, uptown, and south to Poco Diablo Resort. It's just that easy. Looking for a better way to commute between Cottonwood and Sedona? The Verde Shuttle buses are brand new. A cool, clean, comfortable ride for only $2 each way or $3 for an all-day pass. It's just that easy. Check out details at verdeshuttle.com or ask Google Maps for transit directions. It's just that easy.
Do you remember our first group photo? This is it. Smiles all around, even though we were all nervous.
Who could have imagined that our first weekend together would soon turn into a lifetime of memories?
You're an amazing young man. Your brothers and sisters really look up to you. They're a big brother.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
You know, it took 20 years, and I got my third child who was 17 at the time.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
I ain't never felt so much love before in my life.
The mouth is the gateway to the digestive system. Studies indicate a correlation between oral health and full body health. Regular cleanings and checkups can help protect you. New patients are welcome at Arizona Smile Designers in Cottonwood. There's a full smile worth of services all offered under one roof. Whitening and cosmetic to implants and smile reconstruction. Find out more or request an appointment online at azsmiledesigners.com.
Welcome back. We've got just a couple minutes left with Ryan Harding from ADOT to talk about some of the projects that were started maybe last year before that are hopefully going to get finished up this year, or at least be worked on some more this year. Can you give us kind of a rundown on that, Ryan, in our last couple minutes of the show here today?
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the projects that were going to be that had started last summer and they're going to pick up again this year to get completed. As we mentioned earlier, the paving about 10-mile stretch of I-40 from I-17 out to Walnut Canyon Road in East Flagstaff. And that was started last year. And so the crews are going to return here this spring and complete repaving I-40 there in both directions, as well as doing some minor bridge work. So that should be completed. Another project on I-40 there in the Flagstaff area is the replacement of the I-40 bridges over the Business 40 interchange in West Flagstaff, where that connects to Route 66. Those bridges were being replaced last year, and so crews again will return to finish up that work. And then some other things, and a little bit further west was near Ash Fork, the couple of I-40 bridges that are being replaced at Pinavetta Draw Bridge there. Some of those bridges over that Pinavetta Draw are getting replaced. So we've replaced a lot of I-40 bridges over the last several years or so. And so it's good to keep those in good condition and keep the traffic flowing, because that's an important corridor.
I can remember driving over some of those I-40 bridges years ago, and you can see rebar a little bit here and there, and you think, wow, that doesn't look too good. You know, you're not supposed to have rebar showing through a bridge. So, we're fixing all the bridges. There's a lot of work to be done, of course, up in Flagstaff, especially, as we mentioned earlier, with the winter. The winter takes quite a toll on the roadways, and it's a main corridor for truck traffic as well. And I used to have ADOT come in here and talk about how truck traffic in that slow lane can create quite a bit of damage to a roadway as well, because just the sheer weight of them going on those roadways. Yes. So that's what we have to look forward to, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of road work from ADOT going on this year and likely into next year as well. And like I mentioned earlier, pretty much I-17, the whole corridor, you're going to have to slow down and just be aware and pay attention. I encourage people all the time to slow down in construction zones. I truly do. I do the speed limit when I'm going through there, and I don't know how many people fly past me going much faster going through those construction zones, but we need to slow down. There's people working in there. We don't want any accidents happening. So, Ryan, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate that.
Thanks for having me.
AZDOT.gov. Again, that website, AZDOT.gov/projects for more information. That's today's Countywide. As always, we thank you for watching and listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.